report. Coming up in this edition, Fitch Solutions projects policy rate of 30% of the Bank of Ghana at its next meeting in September 2023, but hopeful real interest rates will return to positive trajectory before the end of year. Also in this bulletin, Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, assures second round of domestic debt exchange will have little impact on banks as half-year profits reaches over 5 billion Ghana cedis. Later in the bulletin, General Agricultural Workers Union appeals to government to use media budget to reduce taxes on farm inputs. These and many more shortly. Thanks so much for your company. I am Pius Kojobaka, and look now at our stories. Fitch Solutions is forecasting a steady policy rate of 30% by the Bank of Ghana at its next meeting in September 2023. It, however, believes that the central bank will commence a monetary easing cycle in the fourth quarter of 2023 as inflation will moderate rapidly towards the end of 2023. There is more in this report.
In its latest report on Ghana, the UK-based firm said the Bank of Ghana will keep the policy rate on hold at its next Monetary Policy Committee meeting in September. It believes the regulator of the banking industry will commence a monetary easing cycle in the fourth quarter of 2023, cutting the benchmark policy rate by 200 basis points to 28% by the end of the year. Fitch Solutions furthered that inflation will moderate rapidly in the fourth quarter of 2023 as a result of favorable base effects. The cedi sold off rapidly in the fourth quarter of 2023, suggesting that the currency will be significantly stronger in the last quarter of this year, sharply reducing imported pressures on a year-on-year basis. This Fitch Solutions report said it informs its forecast that inflation will fall below the 30% mark by November. It means real interest rates will return to positive territory for the first time since January 2022. As a result, it expects the central bank to adopt a more relaxed monetary policy stance at the last MPC meeting of 2023.
A business desk report there. Now, the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, has assured that the second round of domestic debt exchange will have a little impact on the fortunes of banks. Government is currently undertaking a program to restructure the domestic dollar bonds and cocoa bills. There are fears that this exercise may affect the recovery posted by banks with half-year profits reaching over 5 billion cedis. But Dr. Ernest Addison maintains that the performance of the banks could be sustained going forward.
This assessment has already been done. A lot of the banks have already taken, the impairments on the cocoa bills and especially the euro bonds on the basis of certain assumptions that they have made on what the settlement would look like. So the impact on the financials of the banks have already been, in a sense, taken care of by most of the banks. And the holdings are quite concentrated, and there are not that many banks that are exposed to these euro bonds. You see that there are certain banks that, went into investing in these euro bonds very strongly.
Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison there. Meanwhile, government's invitation to the bondholders to restructure the dollar bonds is expected to end tomorrow. However, the cocoa bills will end on July 31. Government is seeking to restructure over 15 billion Ghana cedis worth of these papers held by individuals and institutional investors. According to the Ministry of Finance, this will help bring an end to the restructuring of the country's domestic debts. Moving on to some other stories, the Director General of the West African Monetary Institute is calling for infrastructural development of the Pan-African Payment and Settlement System known as PAPS for ECOWAS member states. According to him, the initiative, which is expected to reduce the cost and accelerate settlement and payment of trade transactions, is on course and must be supported across the continent. He was speaking at the first edition of the Currency Development Dialogue Series at the University of Professional Studies, Accra.
Pan-African payment systems and settlement. We've gone far. And if you go to your bank now, some of these banks, you have the menu there. So you can transfer, you want to buy items or you want to buy goods or services in Nigeria with your cedi, you just go to the bank and you don't have to look for dollar. And it will be done within a twinkle of an eye. So the other pillar is the what we call the institutional and capacity building.
Dr. Oluransule Oluwosufeso is the Director General of the West African Monetary Institute. Now, the Executive Director of the Economic and Organized Crime Office, Yoko Mamiya Tiwadudankwa, has advised internet users to desist from reporting mobile banking fraud incidents to the media and make law enforcement agencies their first point of call. She explains that reaching out to the media could interfere with investigations leading to destruction of evidence. She made the call when MTN and Yoko signed a memorandum of understanding to combat the surging rate of mobile banking fraud in the country.
Sometimes people are more comfortable reporting incidents to the media, and most often you rather prefer to come out and blow it out. The best thing that you need to do is to let law enforcement know. The moment you come out with that, some of the evidence will be destroyed or will be taken away.
Now, the Executive Director of the African Center for Energy Policy, ASEP, Ben Boaji, says a swift conversation to address challenges of inefficiencies of state-owned enterprises within the energy sector will help Ghana's economy. He was speaking at a pre-mid-year budget dialogue series.
And suddenly it's the government agency boss that is doing the imports, and they don't pay tax, right? So how are you going to show up your tax revenue when government is hijacking the businesses and not paying tax in that respect? So we want to see how we can quickly address those issues, the space. I mean, the energy sector SOEs are perhaps the most inefficient.
Ben Boachi is the Executive Director of ASEP. To one of our headline stories, and the General Agricultural Workers Union, GAWU, has asked government to use the media budget to reduce taxes on farm inputs to encourage farmers. Some stakeholders in the agri sector have bemoaned high cost of farm inputs due to taxes. Speaking to Joy Business, the General Secretary of GAWU, Edward Kariwe, said excess taxes will not necessarily lead to development.
Well, I think that we are applying an outmoded economic development policies to try to develop ourselves. You know, if we think that we can still go with this fixation that you can generate revenue by increasing your taxes and tax the same people all the time, certainly it is telling us that it's not working. You know, yes, revenue will automatically come up, and it will come up when your capacity to generate the revenue is strengthened.
Edward Kariwe, General Secretary of the General Agricultural Workers Union, speaking there. You're still listening to the Joy Business Report. Now, pepper is an important vegetable used in preparing food in most Ghanaian homes. It is used in sauce and also used for snacks like egg and pepper. Due to the high consumption of it, World Data Atlas shows that Ghana produces an average of 3,700 tons of pepper annually. The mode of production over the years had been traditionally farming, but the past 8 years have seen a gradual shift of the to the net house technology. Director of Agribusiness at Gesal, Samuel Yabua, explains the technology.
Pepper is an important vegetable used in preparing food in most Ghanaian homes. It is used in sauce and also used for snacks like egg and pepper, also known as kosuani meko. Due to the high consumption of it, World Data Atlas shows that Ghana produces an average of 3,700 tons of pepper annually. The mode of production over the years had been traditional farming, but the past 8 years have seen a gradual shift to the net house technology. Director of Agribusiness at Gesal, Samuel Yeboah, explains the technology.
So we started this about 4 months ago. We did a nursery for 6 weeks, after which we did a transplanting on the 17th of May. So these crops you see here are 10 weeks old, and harvesting has started on schedule. We expect to make about $25,000 from this production alone, which is 0.4 of a hectare, 1 acre to be precise. at the end of the production season. It will take us 1 year to complete the cycle.
In 2014, the European Union imposed a ban on vegetable exports to its markets due to non-compliance with sanitary and phytosanitary requirements. The EU ban was removed in November 2017 following an improvement in the requirements, but vegetable exports, especially chilies, have not recovered to the pre-EU ban levels. In a bid to revive the sector, Gesal started a commercial trial of production of chili in net houses. Techi Sraha is Chief Operating Officer at Gesal.
What we are doing here, we want to intervene in this sector to demonstrate to the agribusiness and the financial institutions that it's possible to produce pepper in net houses using this low technology for export.
It is estimated that Ghana lost $30 million during the period the ban was imposed. President of the Ghana Vegetable Producers and Exporters Association, Dr. Felix Kamasa, called for more investments in the net house technology to prevent a recurrence of a ban.
This system is not cheap, very expensive. The youth cannot afford. I think government is trying to do something to look at this youth in agriculture, but they are not looking at the setup, the mode very well. They have to involve the stakeholder together and see what they are doing here. Then they can able to have that blueprint. And then they can circulate, and then the bank can have a comfortable, because the bank, they look at the figures. So if government want to solve issue in terms of the foreign exchange, these are some of the system they have to.
Juliana Asante Dati, Executive Director of Agri Impact, an agribusiness consultancy firm managing the technology, highlighted the importance of the net house technology.
So what you are trying to do under the protected cultivation is that, one, you get to control some of the parameters. So even though this is a net and it rains and it will come in, the sizes of the pores would break the impact of the rain. So we are using irrigation. So when there's no rain, we can still continue production, and we do the fertigation and everything through the dripper system. We get to control the fertilizers and agro inputs that you use. And we're also following a protocol. So it's not just about spraying. You have to spray at the right time. You have to spray the right quantity. You even have to use the right applicator to do the spraying.
Prospects in chili production are huge. Hence, it will be beneficial to the economy if Ghana could quickly recover from the impact of the ban and increase exports.
And you can watch this edition of Food Chain on Saturday at 6 p.m. on the Joy News channel. That's said for the Joy Business Report, brought to you by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. Let's quickly take some messages from EcoBank. Does your existing salary account give you more? Is your salary in the right account? Worry no more. The EcoBank salary account is here to help you. Open an EcoBank salary account today and enjoy free life insurance, which covers temporary and permanent total disability, critical illness, hospitalization, retrenchment, and death. With the EcoBank salary account, you have the ability to save as you spend, free debit card, access to loans, and more. The best part is that you stand the chance to double your salary in the EcoBank Double Salary Promo Reloaded from now till end of July. So open an EcoBank salary account today by visiting an EcoBank branch or ecobank.com to open an account online for amazing benefits. Please beware of scammers who may contact you on this offer. Always visit an EcoBank branch or call EcoBank toll free on 0800 003 225 for further details on the EcoBank salary account and the EcoBank Double Salary Promotion Reloaded. Terms and conditions apply. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. I am Pius Kojubaka. Ignition is next with Sami Forsen. Do have a lovely afternoon.
Joy 99.7 FM.